2 years ago, I was the most laziest person I knew because I was unproductive, I was unmotivated, and I procrastinated so much. Back in school, when I received an assignment, instead of being intelligent and doing the assignment step by step, continuously to work on the assignment, and then in the end having a good assignment and a good grade, I didn't do that. What I did basically all the time is, when I received the assignment, I said to myself, today will be different. This time I will work on the assignment. Today I will start working today, then the next day and so on. And for the next week I will work hard on the assignment and have a good grade. But I didn't do that. When I went home, I instantly went to my PC and played video games. Then the next day, the same. I procrastinated with binging, with scrolling and playing video games. And then 6 days passed, and one day before handing in the assignment, I didn't do shit. So I prepped a sloppy assignment and handed it in. And guess what? It sucked. It was complete shit and I had a shitty grade because of that. Back then, I had always the excuse that, I'm born with being lazy and I'm just a lazy person. It was my excuse because I thought that being lazy is a trait, that you can't change being lazy. What I didn't realize is that it didn't really matter that I was lazy, unproductive and procrastinated a lot. Those things weren't the real problem. They were only a symptom. The real problem that caused the symptoms like laziness, unproductiveness, procrastination, that thing was the real problem. Now, luckily for me, I stopped that problem and I went from being a lazy, unproductive, procrastinating person to a person who is productive, who stopped his addiction like phone addiction, scrolling addiction, gaming addiction, porn addiction, and then reduced his screen time and filled his time with productive things, with things that I actually want to do that brings me further in life. With my new free time, I improved my body and I went from skinny to muscular. On top of that, I improved my physical and my mental health tremendously. I fixed my poor sleep and now sleep better than 95% of all people. I traveled around in Europe and in Asia. I rediscovered nature and now find the small things in life enjoyable. On top of that, I climbed the highest mountain in Oman. I read around 70 books in German, French and in English. I ran my first competitive 10K and I'm training for a marathon. I started 2 YouTube channels. This one and one in Spanish, and I never spoke a word of Spanish before I started. So I'm learning a new language. I also learned how to play the piano. And most important, I improved my relationship with my family. And I was able to do all of that thanks to my compendious 5 pillars of quitting that helped me tremendously in stop being a lazy person, stop procrastinating, and then going from a subhuman, a human who isn't productive, who just isn't bad at life, to a healthy human who does things, who enjoys life. And if you're interested in also doing that, then click the first link in the description. So today, let's look at why being lazy isn't the problem. So if being lazy isn't the real problem, what is? The real problem that causes all of those symptoms is overstimulation. You are overstimulated by lots of things. And I give you some examples. The first and the obvious reason is short form content. I'm talking about shorts, Insta Reels and TikTok. Those things are fucking overstimulating you. They overstimulate you first with their editing, with their music and with emotions. All of those things combined that you are overstimulated because of that. Especially if you consume 1 hour every day for 7 days a week, for 52 weeks a year. If you do this every day, you are overstimulated as fuck. And this is a problem. This problem causes that you're lazy. Another thing that overstimulates you is long form content. Because when I stopped consuming short form content, I realized something. I realized that I was still lazy, I was still unproductive. Because in my mind I was like, short form content is the big problem. If I stop short form content, then I stop overstimulating myself. But the reality is, it isn't as simple as that. Because I just replaced my short form content addiction with scrolling, with a new addiction with binging YouTube, with binging movies and streams, and with binging useless, overstimulating shit. And guess what? I was still lazy, I was still unproductive, because I was overstimulating myself with long-form content. So long-form content is almost as bad as short-form content, because it also overstimulates you. And the last two things are gaming, porn, and drugs. Those things are also overstimulating you. If you do lots of those things, short-form content, long-form content, gaming, porn, and drugs, you are pretty overstimulated. And because of that, your life is probably pretty fucked. You may wonder, why is overstimulation the problem? We covered that you are overstimulated because you do those things. Now, the reason overstimulation is the problem is simply because what you are overstimulating. Now, the first thing you're overstimulating is you have too much information. Your mind is fully clustered with information, because you need to realize, when you focus on something, your brain basically assigns some brain power towards this assignment. Let's say when you read about an article, some brain power goes towards this article. When you watch a video, some of your brain power goes towards watching that video, and it keeps that video in mind. It stores that video and it thinks it's kind of important. Now, if you have so many different videos, small parts of your brain are linked towards that video or that movie, gaming, etc. And you have so many different attachments that you are overstimulated with information. Your brain is overstimulated with so many different things that it doesn't know what is the most important thing. So it can't realize that learning or doing hard work or going to the gym or whatever productive things you want to do is important, because it has so many different attachments that it doesn't realize what is important and what isn't important. And that's the first thing why you are becoming lazy because of that. Because your brain is overstimulated with information and with attachments that it doesn't know what to prioritize. The second thing is it overstimulates yourself with emotion. You need to realize that basically everything that is overstimulating you is also overstimulating your emotion. Let's say when you watch TikTok, what you do is you scroll on multiple videos. Now, every video that you watch, a different kind of emotion is released. One video makes you feel happy, then another video makes you feel anxious, then another video makes you feel sad, then one depressed, then one makes you fucking angry, then one makes you jealous, and so on. Every video, literally every video that you scroll and see releases a different emotion in you. And because you scroll for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, your mind is overstimulated with different emotion. Then on top, you watch a series and you are attached towards this series because different kind of emotions are released when you watch a series. Because maybe you want to watch a tragedy, so you feel sad. Maybe you watch an action movie, then you feel happy and good. But still, it releases emotion. But because you overdo it, because you overstimulate yourself with that, it's bad for you because you overstimulated with emotions. And when you're overstimulated with your emotion, your brain just can't handle it and it shuts down. So you don't want to do anything. You just want to lie there and do nothing because you're overstimulated with emotions. That's why you procrastinate, and that's why you are lazy. The last thing, and probably the main reason why you are lazy, unproductive and procrastinated because you overstimulate yourself, is dopamine. You probably know what dopamine is. If you don't, dopamine is a neurotransmitter that's released in your brain when you pursue pleasure. But the thing is, dopamine is released also when you do hard work, when you read, when you go to the gym, when you make food, when you work on assignment, when you learn. But it's released when you scroll, when you game, when you watch porn, when you do drugs, etc. So dopamine is released pretty much almost every time you do something. Now, the problem with that is because you overstimulate yourself with stuff that releases lots of dopamine, like short-form content, hyper-engaging series and movies, gaming, porn and drugs, your mind is overstimulated with dopamine. The problem with that is that now things that are harder, that require more effort because they release smaller amounts of dopamine, like doing hard work, like working on an assignment, like reading, going to the gym, etc. Those things feel so hard, feel so unbearable because you are so overstimulated with dopamine. Your dopamine receptors are fried, so the small amounts of dopamine that you receive from learning or doing hard work is just not enough for you. So this is why when you want to work, you feel unable to. It's because your dopamine receptor is fried because of your overstimulation habits. That's the main reason. That's the reason why overstimulation causes that you are lazy. Because you are overstimulated with news, you're overstimulated with emotions, and you're overstimulated with dopamine. If you combine all of those things, you come to the conclusion that overstimulation is the problem, and because of that, you're lazy, you're unproductive, and you procrastinate. How can we fix that? How can you stop that and stop being lazy, stop being unproductive, stop procrastinating, and actually be more productive, doing things you actually want, being the guy who can work, who can study, and be more productive than ever? How can you be that guy? It's basically pretty simple. You need to stop overstimulating yourself. That's it. Stop overstimulating yourself. So how can you stop overstimulating yourself? Is stop those habits. Stop short form content. Stop binge watching so much. Stop over consuming so much. Stop gaming, stop porn, stop doing drugs. Cut out those habits, cut out those bad habits, and you can replace them with good habits, and you will then become more productive and less lazy the more you cut it out. So cut out as much as possible, and you will become more productive the more you cut out. That's it. It is as simple as that. Do that and you will be more productive and less lazy. So, if you want help with being less lazy, less focused, just being less of a subhuman that is that is unproductive, that is just unhappy with life, and then change from a subhuman to a human that is healthy, normal, that can actually do things and is happy with himself, then click the first link in the description. There you will come to my compendious 5 pillars of quitting, where I will teach you how to go from a subhuman to a normal, healthy human that can stop his addiction, that is healthy, and that can actually enjoy his life and do the things that he actually wants to do. So if this sounds interesting, then click the first link in the description. On that note, have a great day, sleep well, and I see you on the next one. Goodbye.